Throughout history, humans have always been fascinated by the idea of extreme longevity. Ancient cultures told stories about monks, sages, and mysterious figures who lived far longer than ordinary people. Some legends even claimed that certain individuals lived for centuries. Most of these stories were eventually dismissed as myths, but one particular case has continued to intrigue historians and researchers for decades. Because according to some historical claims, one man may have lived for more than 2.5 centuries. His name was Li Ching-Yuen, and if the story is true, he may have lived to the incredible age of 256 years. That would make him, by far, the oldest human being to have ever lived. But is this extraordinary story actually possible? Or is it simply one of history's most fascinating legends? To understand the mystery, we first have to travel back to China during the time of the Qing dynasty. According to certain reports, Li Ching-Yuen was born in the year 1677 in the Sichuan province of China. This was a time when China was ruled by powerful emperors and vast rural regions remained largely untouched by modern development. In these mountainous areas, traditional herbal medicine had been practiced for centuries, and it was in this environment that Li Ching-Yuen reportedly developed his lifelong interest in health and longevity. From a young age, he was said to have studied plants, herbs, and ancient medical texts. By the time he was a teenager, he had already begun traveling through remote mountain regions in search of rare medicinal herbs. Many of these plants were believed to have powerful healing properties. Over time, Li became known as an expert in herbal medicine. He spent decades gathering and studying plants such as ginseng, lingzhi mushrooms, and goji berries. These herbs had long been used in traditional Chinese medicine to promote health and extend life. But Li's knowledge of herbal medicine was only one part of the story. According to later reports, he also practiced breathing exercises, meditation, and martial arts. These practices were closely connected to ancient Chinese philosophies about balance, energy, and longevity. Followers of these traditions believed that maintaining harmony between the body and mind could significantly extend a person's life. And if the stories about Li Ching-Yuen are true, he may have taken these ideas further than almost anyone else. For many years, Li lived quietly as a herbalist and teacher, but his story would eventually attract worldwide attention in the early 20th century. In 1933, newspapers began reporting that Li Ching-Yuen had died. But what shocked people the most was not his death, it was his supposed age. According to these reports, Li Ching-Yuen had lived for 256 years. If true, this would be an almost unimaginable lifespan. To put this into perspective, the longest confirmed human lifespan belongs to Jean Calment, who lived to the age of 122. Even that record already seems extraordinary, but 256 years would be more than twice that length. Naturally, many scientists and historians were skeptical, but the mystery deepened when additional claims about Li's age began to surface. Some reports suggested that Chinese imperial records might support his extraordinary lifespan. According to these accounts, a Chinese professor discovered documents from the Qing Imperial Archives congratulating Li Ching-Yuen on his 150th birthday in 1827. Even more surprising, later records were said to celebrate his 200th birthday as well. If these documents were genuine, they would suggest that Li had already been alive for generations. The story became even more unbelievable when people began describing his personal life. According to some accounts, Li had married 24 times and fathered more than 180 children during his lifetime. These claims only added to the legend surrounding him. But perhaps the most famous part of Li's story was his explanation for his incredible longevity. When people asked him how he managed to live so long, he reportedly gave a surprisingly simple answer. He said that the secret to a long life was maintaining inner peace. According to one famous quote attributed to him, a person should keep a calm heart, sit quietly like a turtle, walk lightly like a pigeon, and sleep like a dog. In other words, Li believed that avoiding stress and maintaining mental balance were essential for a long life. His diet was also said to play an important role. Reports claim that he regularly consumed herbal mixtures and simple natural foods. Many of these ingredients, such as goji berries and ginseng, are still widely associated with health benefits today. But Despite all these fascinating claims, most historians remain extremely cautious about accepting the story as fact. There are several reasons for this skepticism. First, reliable birth records from rural China during the 1600s were extremely rare. Without accurate documentation, confirming someone's true age becomes almost impossible. Second, historians believe that some of the records associated with Li Ching-Yuen may actually refer to different individuals who shared the same name. In other words, several generations of people may have been mistakenly combined into one legendary figure. Another possibility is that Li himself exaggerated his age. In many cultures, great age is associated with wisdom and respect. Stories about his longevity may have gradually grown over time as they were passed down through generations. Yet, despite these doubts, there are still many people who believe that Li Ching-Yuen may indeed have lived an unusually long life. Even if the number 256 was exaggerated, some accounts suggest that he could still have lived well beyond the average lifespan of his time. Witnesses who claimed to meet him described a man who appeared surprisingly healthy and energetic for his age. Some even said that he looked far younger than the years he supposedly carried. Of course, it is impossible to verify these claims today, but the legend of Li Ching-Yuen continues to fascinate people around the world. Because throughout human history, the idea of extending life has always captured the imagination. Ancient alchemists searched for elixirs of immortality. Kings and emperors funded expeditions looking for magical substances that could prevent aging. And even today, scientists are studying ways to slow down the biological processes that cause the human body to age. Modern research into genetics, medicine, and nutrition continues to explore the possibility of extending human lifespan. Yet, even with all our technology, the idea of someone living for more than 2 centuries still seems almost impossible, which is exactly why the story of Li Ching-Yuen remains so intriguing. Was he truly a man who lived far beyond the limits of ordinary human life? Or was his story simply a legend that grew larger with each retelling? We may never know the full truth, but one thing is certain: more than a century after his reported death, the mysterious story of Li Ching-Yuen still continues to spark curiosity around the world. And whether fact or myth, his legend remains one of the most fascinating longevity stories in human history.